Right, it's going to be number 4. Coronavirus, no, update number 5, sorry, number 5 it is. Now basically, talking about shopping, we went to 3 different shops, I think probably Monday, and we managed to get everything. There was a few things we couldn't get, like there was only really nasty cheap toilet paper left, so we got we were allowed one of those, and there's a few things where there was only literally 1 or 2 left, but we managed to get everything. We didn't go over the top because we've ordered an Asda delivery for the 27th. Now, well, that was the only day we could get, put it that way, the 27th. So we've ordered stuff on there. Haven't gone over the top as such, just maybe 1 or 2 weeks shopping instead of 1 week. And looked at it today, and that list is going down fast. It was £134 worth, that's for 5 of us. Now it's down to £88, just because of stuff out of stock. Now I don't know whether anyone's having the same thing, but I think if you go today you'll probably find even less stuff. So yeah, but you know, I've got a feeling once people have stocked up and are at home, I think those stock levels will go back up pretty quick. So I don't think there's any panic there. I mean, if it really does get bad and everyone goes and stocks up, you know, I just think they're going to have bad food at the end, basically. So maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then see how it goes. But today, when I thought, I went onto Asda's thing where you get 12 months of guaranteed slots, but there was no slots left. There was literally nothing left. Even April's gone. So everyone must be basically gathering the... Now, 3 of us have had symptoms. We don't think it's the virus, we think it's flus and colds, including me with my runny nose. So, but I think this is just what I get pretty much every winter. So I don't think it's anything to do with that. We locked down. We took the kids off school. I think they went Monday, Tuesday, and because we had symptoms, we kept our girl back from college and the boy back from school. And but today they finish anyway, so I don't think there's. I think the only problem they've got is not getting all the emails and the website numbers for the for their work. So all you have to do is ring the school basically, and you'll get that very same information. The government seems to be putting its finger out at last and telling everyone to stay at home. I don't know why they waited this long, and neither does anybody else. We've all heard it in the news. It's all way too long basically, and I think, you know, deep down, you know, there's some idiot in the medical profession who thought we should all get it. You know, I think that's what he thinks everyone should have it, and then get what they call a herd immunity, which you know, I'd rather not have it around, to tell you the truth. Then now we're open to having it every winter, which is not good. And like I said in the other one, all the advantages of old people dying to the government is terrific. But now I think they've realised that we've cottoned on to that, and they're starting to do things for old people, like getting the supermarkets to open an hour, or leave it to old people for the first hour of every day. That's a good idea. Every supermarket should do that. And the good thing is supermarket staff are now on the required people's list, or whatever they call it. They call it something else, but it's the list of people who are urgent to the situation. Now obviously there's no masks about. Here we've got S6, S10 and GSR respirators, but you can't really walk around with those on. So the thing that might not help, but it certainly makes you feel better, is to use the old shamargs and just wrap one of those over your nose and down through your eyes, look like people do in cold weather, and then tuck that all in behind your hoodie. Or if you don't wear a hoodie, just tuck it down the back. Wrap it round basically, and that will stop quite a lot, I should think, depending on how many thicknesses you have. Or a scarf, you know, anything like that. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but it certainly made me feel better, because it just makes it look like you've come in from the cold rather than an idiot wearing a mask. So yeah, nose again. Mind you, I have been out in the cold for a while, so and all the while you're blowing your nose, you're getting rid of the virus out of your nose. Now there's a lot of funny things to do on the internet, which probably some's rubbish, some's trying to sell you something, but if the virus stays in your throat for a while and gives you a sore throat, it might be a good idea to have a sip of something strongly alcoholic every now and again, like whiskey or vodka or sherry or anything like that, because alcohol, as we know, kills pretty much everything. So that's one thing I'm doing. It's a good excuse to have a little tipple every night too. So there's that. Yeah, there's a lot of different things out there. Hot, you know, drink your tea really hot. They don't like the heat. Things like that. You know, I'm feeling a throat now. You know, but I've had a sore throat for quite a few, pretty much all of last week. So, but it seems to have got better. I've coughed up a lot of horrible yellow rubbish, which I don't know what, you know, I think that's just normally what your lungs get rid of after you've had flu or a cold. So I'm not suggesting that that's the virus, because people on the internet who've had the virus have said they've been hammered really badly and they're really bad trouble breathing. And there was another chap who was on one of the cruise ships who does blogs, and basically he was saying that if you do the breathing exercises, fill your lungs right up with air and hold it, so that you've got, you know, oxygen there and space, open space for it, because old people only use some of their lungs. They breathe very shallowly and don't use all their lung capacity. So if you breathe right in, hold it, and breathe out again, you know, you're getting your lung capacity back, ready for if they fill up with this yellow stuff. Now, Chinese people doing autopsies, doctors doing autopsies on people who have had the virus, are saying when they get somebody with pneumonia, they can take the lungs out, they can still squeeze them like sponge. There might be a lot of liquid there, but they can still squeeze them. With a coronavirus, there's a thick, gooey liquid, thick, gooey stuff, and the lungs feel like wood. They're really, really... So that's the lungs filling up with this gooey stuff, which is the virus, multiplying or whatever. I don't know what's left after the virus has been in, whether it's waste or whether it's the too many virus itself. But if it's too many virus itself, obviously they'll kill themselves as soon as somebody dies. You know, it's like suicide, isn't it? But obviously they're not bothered because they've already spread it to lots of other people over 3 days. So, I mean, these things aren't intelligent. It's just an automatic system. It's just the way it's evolved. So, you know, they're not thinking, oh, I'll get him. They're not thinking like that. They're just something that's evolved because the situation has been there for millions of years to be in. So, yeah, so that's really, I don't think there's anything else. Like I said before, you know, now we're on lockdown, that figure it's 144 deaths today, and I think it was something like 3,200 people they know have got it. So if you times that by 10, you know, that's still quite a few. And one of those, you know, those people could not know they've got it and still be working on your mail or your parcels. So everything that comes in, we've shut our gate now because everyone's home. And although we had a visitor today checking electricity board, still checking to see if trees are touching power lines. You know, it's a bit of a minimum thing to do really, but they're still working. They haven't taken them off. So he walked in today and I said, no, you're staying outside, mate. You know, you go and have a look at the trees outside. Can't make you a cup of tea, can't do anything. So he was there 10 minutes, had a quick look at the trees and went again. So I shut the gate again. And so now we're here under lockdown. We've got our my 86-year-old mother's here. Luckily, she's in her own annex. So if any of us get it, but I have to go in there for a cup of tea every now and again, but I sit over the other side of the room. And she's not got a lot of food. So we're hoping this Aldi thing, where they open for pensioners, I'm her official carer, so I can go with her. But like I said, we've put everything in big army pellet cases, all sealed up with silica bags. Got a few bags of rice, things like that. So if anything goes, we've got flour for bread. That's another thing. Try and get flour if you can. There are places that sell sacks of it. One of them is the farmers' markets, or rather the farmers' shops, and the other one is Booker's or one of the. You know, the trouble is you need a business, an evidence of a business before you go in there. I mean, we've got Booker's cards anyway because of the shows, but if I've repeated all this. Over the last two, this is an update basically. But you know, talking about the government, they probably love it if a lot of old people die. It really is to their advantage. It's the NHS, less stress on the NHS after the virus, that is, when there's a lot of dead relatives, our loved ones dying. He says he's getting us ready for it. Then, you know, housing. There'll be housing released. Old people living in a council house on their own, die, space for a new person. Pensions. Pension system's always been under pressure, because basically it was relying on the shares and the high interest rates. Now it's down to 0.1%, is it? Then, you know, the pension system's going to be under even more pressure. So the less people taking pension, the better it is for the government. And there was quite a few other things. I can never remember all these on the spot, but there's quite a few other things at a serious advantage if the top end of the population is cold. And, you know, if you think about it, they've known this for 10 years, that we were past the point of sustainability on the planet. And has somebody realised, I mean, the elite realised this. They were the first ones to be overheard suggesting things in meetings and at gatherings, especially after a few House of Commons whiskies. You know, they open their mouth to anything. After all, they're only human, so they're going to start suggesting that. So if you think about it, drop a few viruses here and there, it's spread across the world really quickly. They've got an excuse. Oh yes, it did it on its own. You know, how do we know? You know, it's an ideal way to bring the world population down. But you know, that's just a conspiracy theory. But it's a possible one, especially with the lab up the road from the market. Very convenient, all that. You know, anyone dropping one from America, for instance, the Chinese government's blamed America. What do they know? You know, we all think it's rubbish, but what do they know? You know, somebody from America think, oh, there's a nice virus. Yeah, distribute that one. Go to China as a tourist, go into the market, have a good look round, especially those undercover you know, who are those undercover people who go into the markets to have a look round and then blog about it? You know, they could just drop this convenient virus on a surface somewhere and disappear. 4 or 5 days later they're well gone, and suddenly this virus suddenly appears, appearing like it's appeared from a market. Now, as you know, Project X has got its fingers in a lot of pies, and basically one of the medical people we've got who knows people in military medical establishments, including some of the Portman Down, or one of those, I don't know which one, but he's saying that the virus is so perfect, it was purpose built. It couldn't have mutated from one to another animal, you know. And is somebody, these SARS and MERS and bird flu and all that, suddenly started appearing one after the other? Well, don't take my word for it. Anyway, you know, think about it. Think of it as a possibility rather than something that's actually happened. You know, you've got to think deep as to why they would want that. And it's very simple. There's too many of us. Right. Thanks a lot. And I'll try and update if anything ever happens, which I don't think it's going to. I'll do another update, number 6. Thanks.